These are the Edifier W240TN. Okay, so coming in from Edifier are these pretty good looking little ear-poddy type things. You can pick them up for as little as £68 on Amazon currently. They're normally £80 or £79.99, but at this point in time they're £68. So they're quite well priced, I have to say, for the kind of mid-range little earbuds that you expect to see. Around the back we have, okay, scan with the transparency app. That's a bit strange to find. We have some specifications on the back that we will go through as we delve into this. There we have the box. It's quite a nice little box, to be honest. Oh, that is quite nice. It opens like a ring box or something if you're going to propose. Someone may be expecting a slightly bigger ring. In here we have some bits and pieces. In here we have some bits and pieces. So what do we get? We get a USB Type-C charger cable. We get a little set. That's quite a nicely set out set of earbuds. The smallest ones do look very small, and the big ones look quite big. But in a container here, so it's not going to have other people's mitts on them. Got a bit of silica gel. Got a little tiny Edifier manual. We get an after sales card if you like it, and obviously Edifier socials as well. They're good to get in touch with, and they have their Edifier Mall too. Then there's well, just sort of warranty information and stuff. Just tidying up. Sorry. Right, there they are here. I want to know if I can use the box for something else. No, things are stuck down in the box. Okay, and we have Edifier up here, and if we pull this apart, we have a rather dinky little box, which is it's a soft plastic box actually. It's really quite smooth, but that allows it a bit of grip. Whereas we've seen gloss used in the past, this is not glossy. It's a wee bit matte, and it's quite nice. You're not going to drop that too easily. I have had problems with these before, where you just happen to coming out of your pocket, you could slip and drop, and then it opens and the headphones fire out and get covered in muck and fall down drains, and life is over. You have to sit in the train without headphones. Oh, can you imagine? Right, so it says Edifier on the top there. We have a rather nice cut there. Then we have some information on the bottom that you would normally expect. Around the back we have off-centered a USB Type-C, and there's a little button there as well that makes the LED glow. Not that we can do that again. We open it up and neatly presented on the top. Oh, that's nice action. That's a spring-loaded top, so it doesn't close too easily. That's nice. Very nice. Well done, Edifier. Top marks. Then we have these. Was it Super Mario that had some sort of creature in it that looked a bit like this, a sort of duck type thing? Oh, I can't remember now. It'll come to me in the months or weeks after this. That's a nice looking headphone. It looks very curvature to your ear, so that goes in. You know exactly which way it goes, and this will obviously sit just in the ear cup. And we'll take this off as well, just so you can see the driver. There it is. That looks very nice. Right, we'll try and attach that again later. So obviously around here we have a button. Clickety click. And there's this as well, so maybe it just, that goes under the thumb whenever you're putting it in, or under the finger, so you know which way you're putting it. It's obviously marked with an L, and then there's a little air hole or of some description. Microphone hole looks to be around there. So if you're putting it in that way, then the microphone is kind of pointing down toward your mouth. Okay, looks like they have really gone to town on the design of this and redesigned. This is very different to the previous Edifiers that we've looked at on here before. So I'm hoping that that makes a big difference whenever it comes to playback as well, and how good it sounds. And we do get a wee bit of an animation there that's very Knight Rider. I think I'd just sit and watch that for a while. That's very cool. Again, top marks Edifier. I love it. So that might be something more to do with the PR. I used this to go and get the app that is on a website, and I've had to download it directly from there. Edifier Connect is installing. So declaration, hint, in order to search for nearby Edifier Bluetooth products, the application needs access to your location permit. So I'm guessing this is one of their wireless series, and there we have it there, the W2N, or the W240TN. Okay. Device is not connected. Click to connect. Okay, so there they're showing up, the W240TN, and we'll pair. Right, they're active with 100% battery. Okay, and it says here connected. So what do we have by way of things in the app? We have left is showing 100%, right is showing 100%, and the box is showing 86%. We have noise cancellation off, noise cancellation and ambient sound. We can choose the type of sound effect that we use. We have classical, dynamic and customized. And we have game mode on and off. It says not playing anything, so if I turn on YouTube Music, it tunes into that and it shows that it's playing I Was Born to Love You by Queen, which is quite nice. So it implements your music streaming app of choice, which is quite good, and it's showing that kind of thing going on. So we can change to dynamic and to customized. We go over to customize, and there we have a nice equalizer with our Q factor as well. We can up and down the gain. We can change the frequency. Scan QR code. So I wonder if you can have QR codes for various different customizations. It's kind of fun. Then over on, what's more do? More allows us to share, reset, rename. So if I set up a customization on a particular song and want to share it with you, then I can hit share and it'll give you that. But I wouldn't go ahead and grab that because it's all just standard. Ain't that nice? And I'm guessing up here we have customized, and then there's a blank space with there's a dot or a line underneath it, so we could go across these and have rock music or opera or something like that as we go across. Nice little app, very nice little app. What else do we have? Discover. So we can go in there and find more from their mall, find out new things that they have being released, speakers and the like. Ooh, that looks nice. The mall where you can buy them, the official mall. And there's a girl with these. I bet I look as cool as her with these. I bet I do. Fast shipping seems to be very Americanized. Some bits and pieces. I do like this. I'd love one of these. They're pretty cracker. It's actually got proper like piano key type things that you push when you're flipping around the speaker. Sorry, I shouldn't be doing that. Right, yes, you can go and buy stuff off there and have it shipped to you, which is handy in the app. And then mine as opposed to me. Customized tunings, devices supported, adding widgets to your home screen, frequently asked questions, and about us. Okay, so I'm going to go for a walk, have a wee play with these, see how darn good they sound, and I've got a funny feeling they're going to sound really good because I have a similar pair from a couple of years ago, and they are still my number one go-tos, soon to be replaced by these. Okay, so it has been just over a week. No, wait, it's been actually 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, sorry. And I have to give you my full report on these. To be honest, I'm having difficulty finding fault with them. They have so many little nice additions that I don't know where this black stuff is coming from. It must be my head. Oh, it is my headphone. Yes, I have had so many little nice experiences with these that I'm finding it difficult to actually find a problem. First, I have omitted to mention, and I don't even think it might even be on the packaging that's very obvious. It's there. IP55 dust and waterproofed. Because I suddenly realised when I went to walk out of the house, can I wear these in the rain? Because it is currently raining. And you know what? You can. I wouldn't go wearing them swimming or anything like that, but yeah, you can wear them in the rain. Lovely little thing. One of the things I noticed that is really useful is, say for example, I take this right earbud and attempt to put it into the left bay. There's a magnet there that's repelling it back, so I can't put it into the wrong one. You always put it in the right one. And then the magnet, oh, that wasn't a good example, sucks it in. Just a really simple idea that works really well. So often is it the time that you're, well, I suppose it's not that obvious, is it? You take your left ear thing down and put in, but you never know. You could have them both in the same hand for whatever reason. When you're talking to someone, you go to put them back and it's luck of the draw. And then whenever you go to pull it out again, it's a whole faff. Oh, which one's which? Or you put it in the wrong ear and you're fiddling around with it. It just saves you that little bit of time afterward. Love that idea. Well done, Edifier. Really impressed with this. Additionally, I haven't actually charged these yet. I've had them for 2 weeks. I've been on numerous walks. I used them to watch a movie on my tablet, and I've used them on the train going into work a couple of times. And the battery is, I don't know how to tell whether or not this is giving me a good indication of how much is left. You have to use it through the app. That's how I've been working. I think the battery's currently at about 30%, but that's after 2 weeks. And whenever we first got it, I think they were 100, and this was 80-odd%. So that it's been a really good battery life experience. They say you can get about 7 to 8 hours off a single charge through the headphones, I believe. And then the case can recharge the headphones 3 times. So 3 7s are 21 to 24 hours of headphone experience. The controls that are on the buttons here are split between, or not split, they're duplicated between the 2 headphones or earpieces. And that's, yeah, I think some people would prefer if you had more controls on one side than the other, just to expand the amount that you could do. But for people who quickly swap in and out headphones, like for tech reviewers like myself, we get really confused as to what they do. So we have to constantly refer to the manual that's in the app. So you don't have to wait until you get home to find out what to do. You can check on the go what's the best thing to do whenever this happens. And you can, from this, you play and pause your music, which is useful. And then you can double press it to skip a track. And then triple press it brings up the voice assistant, which I have to say I never really used. But if you press and hold it, it allows you to flick between transparency mode, which can sometimes be a wee bit confusing. And working out which way things work can be frustrating whenever you're on the go. But that's a problem with all earbuds, because they don't follow one universal touch button plan. These ones, I think, are quite intuitive. And once you start to get to know them, and because there's a proper click of the button, you feel more secure in what you're doing. Previous ones, they've been a touch button where you've had to touch it, or when you've been putting it in your ears, you've touched it ever so slightly and it's activated something. This, you know where you stand, where you click the button. And given that both of them do the same thing, you don't have to worry if you're holding something in your hand. You don't have to swap your hands. If you've got a folder that you're walking along with, you don't have to swap it to your left-hand side to hit the button to skip a track or to answer a call or something like that. It's really simple. I've just noticed there, I do remember dropping one of these the other day, and I have a very small amount of damage. The left earbud there, where it hit the ground. That's annoying. But it's not visual, but it's the kind of thing that bugs me. I know it's there. Never going to use these again. So I think there's 3 microphones in each of these, and they sound like this. Okay, so this is what the microphones do sound like. I am just basically doing a simple cord on my phone from these headphones onto Google Recorder. I am walking around, and in the second I will go outside. Okay, so I am outside currently. There is a very light wind. It is not as windy as it was yesterday. There was a yellow wind warning. I should have used these then, just for ultimate testing, but this is how they sound outside. And oh my, the side of my neighbour's house has come off in that storm yesterday. Of course, the controls, you can actually modify what the buttons do. So if you're not happy with that setup, you can go back and change it to what you might have, because there is a call mode, and you can turn off call mode as well. You can make call mode inactive if you need to. So there's a lot of configuration you can do with them. The ANC noise cancellation is pretty good. It works rather well. I was using it on the train, which isn't the loudest thing in the world. It's not like a plane where there's a constant hum. But you can really feel where it's cutting out a huge amount of the sound, and it does good work. Using it outside, I struggled to hear cars travelling past and those sorts of things, and then being able to just press the button in and hear a transparency mode if someone was to come in and ask you a question whilst you're using them. It just allows you to not quite ruin the immersion that you had going on. It does that sort of thing, but whenever you turn on that transparency mode, I find it a bit rude that you're talking to someone with a pair of headphones in. I've been shouted at by people doing that before, so I'm cautious about doing it. But it worked, if that's your bag. And there's a little bit of wind noise reduction as well that works there as well. So if you're in a call, you can count on these to just take out just a little bit of it. It's not a massive amount. It has been fairly windy over the last few days, and I did make a call during them to my wife, who perfectly understood me, but she could hear that it was windy in the background. It's not that it affected my voice at all. She could just hear the noise in the background as opposed to the wind buffeting these. But then they're generally sheltered in your ears anyway, so it's just a little bit of added detail that Edifier have put in there that works quite well. So whenever it comes to sound quality, I've really noticed that everything is quite vibrant and very, very well reproduced into your ears. The lows are good, and the higher notes are just as good. It's surprisingly crisp how these work. I do find that whenever it comes to these noise cancelling ones, they don't have as tough a job as non-noise cancelling ones, because they have a better sound stage to be able to push the music into you, because they're coming from almost sheer silence. So anything can sound really good. But these do a really good job across the board. Sitting watching Netflix, which I find to have some of the best sound that you can get on streaming, they really sounded quite beefy and impressive. And then listening back to some FLAC music that I'd ripped from my CDs and vinyls over Plex really sounded good as well, that you could really get some good sound out of these, solid sound that you would expect to get from a higher end headphone or earphone. And these do measure up. They're certainly not audiophile level, but then what is? These just manage it very well. If you're on the go and you need really good sound for a decent price, then I would fully recommend these. The treble is really lively. It's an impressive array that they put on here to be able to reproduce the sounds of orchestral movements and things like that, and strings in an orchestra. So it does work really nicely that way. And I have to say, some of the music that I've put through here has really trounced some of the other wireless earbuds that I've looked at over the years, but then I generally look at lower price ones. It's quite refreshing to have ones that can just cope with everything that I've thrown at them. And really, I would expect this kind from over-ear headphones as opposed to in-ear headphones, because they make it somewhat effortless. And then there's the bass. The bass is always, it's generally something that maybe a cheaper headphone tends to ramp up to try and give it that sort of more full volume. These have a nice bass to them. It's not too deep. It's just balanced very nicely, and it delivers a really, it stays with that crisp treble. It's almost like they're all working together to try to reproduce sound really nicely. The bass doesn't push, doesn't vibrate, or doesn't sound too muddy and tacky. It's a nice level. It's a nice balance. I'd say maybe the best word to describe it is it's controlled. It shows restraint, but it can deliver whenever it's needed. But for those who are maybe looking for really bassy experience, might actually be better off going and getting something a little bit cheaper. You know, if you're into your house or your dance or rave music like that, these might not feel particularly heavy on the bass, which can be off-putting to some, but for the most part, I think they cover a wider spectrum of music. Edifier have been quite responsible here, and they're putting out a pair of headphones that covers everything that you're going to be listening to, and do it well. So in all, I'm dead chuffed with these. I really like them. They are now my daily drivers. I take them with me everywhere. Whilst I actually drive now, as opposed to take the train quite as frequently. They're with me all the time. They're very small, pocketable. Yes, the case is a wee bit chunkier than the ones that have gone before, but I think that's in better stead. And also, it sits upright, whereas some of them, the taller ones that they put out before, tended to fall over quite easily. And the case itself they know what they were aiming for when they designed this case, and I can't fault the case at all. It really is terrific. It just works. I think maybe I might have preferred it in black, because this, I think, might get a wee bit dull over time depending on how much it's used and handled, and perhaps the black or another colour might show off that white stripe a wee bit better as well. It would be great to be able to change the colour of the stripe. Actually, I haven't checked that in the app. Maybe you can do that in the app. The app does have a ton of different features that I can't go into here because there's just so many. It's a well laid out app. It's just a wee bit bamboozling whenever you start playing around with all of the equalizer functions to try and get the best out of your music. You just realise how deep and rich Edifier have made their app experience for these headphones and the other headphones that they have available. So yeah, Edifier is becoming a really, really good alternative to some of the bigger names, and I would genuinely recommend people to check them out before they start just jumping straight in the deep end and going straight for Sony or going straight for Samsung or AirPods. Have a look at Edifier first. You might find something that fits your needs a wee bit better than the obvious. All right, so if you have any questions, let me know in the comments box down below. Turn on those notifications. Hit the subscribe button if you fancy. Give us a wee thumbs up too while you're down there. And other than that, take care.